What if I told you that the key to ultimate freedom lies in what you are willing to let go of? What if everything you seek, strength, clarity, inner peace, isn't found in pursuit, but in detachment? When you begin to detach yourself from the grip of external desires, especially the emotional ties you have with women, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see the world, and more importantly, yourself, differently. This isn't about neglect or denial, it's about rising above, mastering your emotions, and becoming untouchable. Stick with me, and I'll show you how detaching from the need for approval, affection, and validation from women could be the first step toward your ultimate power. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe for more content on mastering yourself and unlocking the true potential of your mind. Stay with us until the end, because I promise you, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's get into it. How attachment weakens us. The most dangerous chains are the ones we willingly place upon ourselves. We attach to people, to things, and in this case to women, believing that this bond somehow completes us. But the truth is, these attachments weaken us, making us dependent on forces outside our control. When you tie your happiness or sense of worth to the actions or opinions of another person, you voluntarily give up your freedom. You become a prisoner to something beyond your own mind, and in Stoicism, this is the very thing we are taught to avoid. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And what lies beyond our control? The affections, thoughts, and actions of others. When you center your life around the desire for a woman's attention, affection, or approval, you give her, knowingly or unknowingly, control over your peace of mind. This is the very essence of bondage. The Stoic path is one of self-mastery. It is not about rejecting relationships, but about understanding that your value and your stability cannot be rooted in anything external. To rely on external things, whether it be wealth, fame, or the love of another, puts you in a position of vulnerability. The moment that external force wavers or disappears, so too does your sense of self-worth. If the woman you desire pulls away, does your world crumble? Does your mind spiral into chaos? If so, the problem isn't with her, it's with your attachment. Detachment, however, does not mean coldness. It doesn't mean withdrawing from the world. It means shifting your focus inward. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, knew this well. In his meditations he wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." What does that mean for us? It means that happiness, stability, and strength are not found in another person's arms, but in the fortress of your own mind. You cannot control who stays or leaves, but you can always control how you respond. And that, my friend, is true power. The illusion of completion. Why do we seek validation in others, particularly in romantic relationships? At our core, many of us believe that another person can complete us, that love from another will fill the void we feel inside. This belief is deeply ingrained in our culture, perpetuated by stories, movies, and even societal norms that tell us we are only whole when we are with someone. But Stoicism teaches us that this belief is not only flawed, it's dangerous. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, often spoke about the folly of seeking happiness outside of ourselves. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This craving for more, whether it's attention, affection, or love, places us in a state of constant lack. When you seek validation from a woman, you are telling yourself that you are incomplete without her approval. You become a beggar, waiting for her affection to determine your worth. But Stoicism reminds us that we are already complete within ourselves. The idea that another person completes us is an illusion. This illusion keeps us trapped in a cycle of seeking and disappointment. When we base our self-worth on how someone else views us, we place our happiness in their hands. It's a precarious position to be in because people are fickle. Their emotions change, their desires shift, and if we hinge our identity on these unstable elements, we are bound to fall apart when they do. The moment she pulls away, you feel the sting of rejection. But is it really her that's causing the pain? Or is it the false belief that you needed her to be whole? Detaching from this need is where true freedom begins. The moment you stop seeking validation from others, especially women, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster that often comes with relationships. You begin to see yourself not as someone who needs to be completed, but as someone who is already whole. This doesn't mean you won't desire connection. It simply means you won't depend on it for your happiness. When you embrace this mindset, you become unshakable. Whether someone chooses to be in your life or not becomes irrelevant to your inner peace. The power of Stoic indifference. One of the most profound teachings of Stoicism is the concept of apatheia, a state of being unaffected by external circumstances. This isn't apathy in the modern sense of the word, but rather a deep-seated indifference to things beyond our control. When you start detaching yourself from women, what you are really doing is practicing this Stoic indifference. You are saying, "I am not moved by what I cannot control." This doesn't mean you don't care. It means that your peace, your inner calm, is untouchable. When you apply this principle to relationships, it becomes clear how much power you gain. Imagine for a moment that you are no longer emotionally swayed by a woman's affection or rejection. Imagine that your self-worth is no longer dependent on her approval, and that her actions, whether they align with your desires or not, do not disturb your internal state. This is what Stoic indifference grants you, the ability to remain calm, composed, and powerful regardless of what others do. Epictetus said, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." When you fear losing someone's love or attention, it is not the actual loss that pains you, but your anticipation of that loss. You create an internal narrative that you are somehow less without her. This is an imagined anxiety, a fear born from the illusion that external validation defines your worth. But once you detach yourself from this narrative, you begin to see clearly that her presence or absence has no bearing on your value as a person. The practice of indifference doesn't make you emotionless. It makes you emotionally resilient. You learn to embrace life's unpredictability, including the unpredictability of relationships, with a calm heart. You stop reacting to every shift in someone else's behavior, and instead, you remain anchored in your own stability. This, Stoicism teaches us, is the essence of true strength. You no longer bend with every breeze of emotion, but stand firm, rooted in the knowledge that your peace lies within you and nowhere else. Becoming untouchable. To detach from women or any external force is not an act of withdrawal, but one of mastery. You are not isolating yourself from relationships. Rather, you are mastering the most important relationship of all, the one with yourself. Stoicism is about cultivating an inner fortress, a place of impenetrable calm and strength. And this begins with self-mastery, the discipline to control your emotions, your desires, and your reactions. When you detach from women, you are practicing this discipline at its highest level. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, understood this well. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. What does this mean for us in the context of detachment? It means that when you no longer allow yourself to be controlled by the actions or affections of others, you reclaim your power. You become untouchable. Your emotional state is no longer at the mercy of someone else's choices. You decide how you feel, how you react, and how you live. This self-mastery is the core of Stoicism. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them and then choosing how to respond. When you start detaching yourself from women, you are not denying your emotions, you are mastering them. You acknowledge that desire exists, but you do not let it control you. You recognize that attachment can lead to pain, but you do not let that fear dictate your actions. This is the essence of what it means to be truly free. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing someone's approval, affection, or love, you become infinitely more attractive. People are drawn to those who are self-sufficient, who do not rely on others for their happiness. By detaching from the need for external validation, you not only free yourself, you also become a magnet for genuine connections. Stoicism teaches us that true power lies in this balance, being open to the world, but never dependent on it. And when you master this, you become truly untouchable.